Hundreds of Ukrainian fighters are evacuated from a steelworks in Mariupol, having been trapped for more than 2 months.
You start with the Times.
Go on then. The Times has a striking picture of one of the Ukrainian soldiers under siege in those steelworks in Mariupol I've been telling you about. Ukraine has confirmed that 264 fighters have been evacuated. Now, 264 Ukrainian fighters have been evacuated from steelworks in Mariupol, where they have been holding out against a fierce Russian attack for more than 2 months.
The troops, many of them badly injured, have been taken to Russian-held parts of Ukraine. Well, Joe Inwood is in Lviv for us this morning. Morning, Joe. What more can you tell us about what's happened?
Well, we're not certain this is the end of the siege of Mariupol because there are, we understand, still some fighters stuck inside the plant. But if we are seeing it drawing to a close, it's probably not the way that many people had expected it. This has been the fiercest, the most bitter, the most bloody battle of this entire war, the siege for this crucial southern port city. And what we saw late last night, under kind of a shroud of secrecy, as this whole process has been really, was a number, we think about 53 wounded servicemen being brought out on stretchers to be taken to a medical facility for treatment, and another 211 soldiers who were brought out as well and taken to a separate facility. Now, we don't know exactly what process has taken place here, but we understand it's the Red Cross involved and the United Nations involved as well. And why that matters, I think, is because those two international bodies are the ones who managed to secure the previous releases of the people stuck inside, the civilians stuck inside, and I think they've built up a sense of, say, trust, which was a crucial element which had been lacking before between these two belligerents, obviously. And so the fact that those bodies have been involved means that the Ukrainians have been happy for their troops to be evacuated to Russian territory. Now, what happens to them next is a really big question. We don't have an answer to that, but President Zelensky said in his nightly address last night that the most important thing was that his heroes, as he called them, are getting out alive. I think both sides will try and paint this as some sort of victory. The Russians, because they will now say they have control over this strategically crucial city. For the Ukrainians, and they have said this, they say they've done their job. They say they've held off the Russian advance for so long that it's allowed the rest of the Ukrainian forces to regroup, and that now they can come out of there and they will come out as national heroes.
Hundreds of Ukrainian fighters have been evacuated from steelworks in Mariupol, where they have been holding out against a fierce Russian attack for more than 2 months. The 264 troops rescued from the Azovstal steel plant are being taken to 2 Russian-held parts of Ukraine, while efforts to rescue the remaining trapped fighters there continue. President Zelensky said Ukraine needs its heroes alive.
We hope to save the lives of our boys. Among them are the heavily wounded. They are being treated. I want to underline, Ukraine needs its Ukrainian heroes alive. This is our principle. I think these words can be understood by all adequate people. We keep working to get our boys back home. This work needs to be delicate and needs time.
Well, meanwhile, in the eastern city of Izium, known as the gateway to the Donbas, volunteer troops are defending every inch of ground and trying to help civilians stuck in the crossfire there.
Our correspondent Quentin Somerville spent some time with them and sent this report.
War descended suddenly upon Ukraine. Along the eastern front, its men may be in bunkers, but they do not cower here. Above, a Russian barrage is the signal. It's time to get to work. Outside these walls, everything is in the line of fire. And these men face it daily. They need little reminder that to the north, the majority of Russia's forces are headquartered. And to the south, most of their Ukrainian comrades. Their patrols and defence along this front line keep these two mighty forces apart. The soldier calls out, "Leave this place as soon as possible." And it's here we find Natasha, stubbornly hanging on. "Do you need help leaving?" Yuri asks her.
I don't have anyone here.
But she's defiant. This war wasn't her choice. It's as if she refuses to acknowledge it, even as Russian shells soar overhead.
Let's go to her house. She invited us. Well, we can't go forward, can we? Very close to us. Very close to us, on our way.
Yuri tries to convince her to come with us. To stay risks death.
I don't want to betray my husband. He's buried in the cemetery here. I won't leave him.
We have to leave, but Natasha's told to pack her bags. They'll come back for her when the shelling stops. Despite the onslaught, the men pushed forward. This is what stalemate sounds like on the Eastern Front. And this is what it takes to keep the gateway to the Donbas firmly shut. Quentin Somerville, BBC News, near Izum, Ukraine.